And speaking of movies that are going to land in flat D, we've got Nico's pick, which was the 2013 film Inside Llewyn Davis.
That's right. Inside Llewyn Davis is a film about a man named Llewyn Davis who's down on his luck as a folk singer and just, he's scraping by, just trying to make one bad decision after another. For example, hitting a cat with his car. Fuck this guy! Tanner, what's your fun fact?
He didn't do it on purpose.
Fun fact, the singing voice of Llewyn's deceased partner Mike is Marcus Mumford of Mumford & Sons.
Dude.
Huh.
Bad fun fact. I literally already knew that. Come up with some new material, dude. Alrighty, for this film, I gave it a flat A.
I don't think I was that positive on this movie.
You love this movie or something. I'm in between a B+ and a B.
I was a little more positive. I don't remember giving this movie this high of a ranking. I gave it a B+.
Wow.
I'm at a C+.
This was certainly better than being John Malkovich by a pretty decent margin, but still not quite my style of movie.
I think the only thing that relates to those two movies is that they have kind of a similar sounding name. I think John Malkovich blows the movie out of the water, though. The thing about this movie and why I am so low on it is, I don't think it's a bad movie. I think it's acted well. I think it's shot well for the most part. I'm not crazy about, the art direction with the color grading style they went for, but that's neither here nor there. The big thing that really turned me off this movie is I just never gave a fuck about our character. I wasn't invested in his story, and as a result, I kind of feel like Tanner watching these types of movies where I'm just watching a guy go from scene to scene, and I just don't give a fuck. The thing that got me the most was the shit with John Goodman, because I think he's just a fun actor to watch, and I was entertained by that part. But the rest of the movie, unfortunately, was just pretty boring, and I just didn't really care. They tried to do a lot of setup of these stressful situations he's being put in, but they resolve them pretty quickly, and nothing ever really worked on me, unfortunately. I was largely just kind of bored watching it.
Yeah, unfortunately, Jackson, you got hard stat checked on this one, dude. This film does a great job of, I'm going to say the line here, subverting your expectations. It sets up some things throughout it that you'd expect it to kind of dive into, like them recording that Mr. Kennedy song and him, not getting the royalties from it. It's he's going to the song's going to blow up, it's going to do huge, it's going to do gangbusters, but he doesn't get shit out of it, except for that $200. Or, him find out that he has a kid, and then, he's driving by where the kid is, but nope, he doesn't end up going for it. It touches on those elements throughout the film, but, it doesn't fully divert into them at any point. The film, it's very cyclical. It's like poetry in a way. It rhymes, like Dylan said, for 50 Shades of Grey, like Star Wars, all that kind of stuff. George Lucas, he just kind of keeps chipping away at his art, day in and day out. Nothing ever changes. It's to a point where, throughout this film, we kind of just end up seeing his art as more of a job. The only time we ever actually do see him playing a song just for him, it's during that John Goodman scene where he's just kind of, fucking around with him. Which, that was definitely pretty cool. It just kind of gives me the impression that he's fallen out of love with it. And, to give Llewyn credit, though he is just fucking grinding away at this shit day in and day out, many people would have quit long ago, but he's still trying to make a living off of this shit. And, because he's not actually fucking doing anything, it's understandable as to why he would feel pretty frustrated and lash out at the world for all of his hard work not paying off.
Dude, he played it for that one time for his dad for fun. He enjoyed that.
I don't think he did enjoy it.
I don't know. Yeah, I was gonna say I don't really have anything to say about this movie. Certainly, the thing is where it's if you do what you love for a career, you'll never work a day in your life. But this movie kind of was showing also if your career doesn't go anywhere, it's gonna make you start hating the thing that you love. And he's also just kind of the character that likes to blame everything and everybody except himself. And so certainly this movie could be viewed from either viewpoints where, not he's just down on his luck, everything's against him, or is this a product of him, and just bad karma? And certainly, I guess I'd probably attribute this movie more to Marty Supreme or something like that, I guess. Where it's more so watching this guy go through life and trying to just figure things out and make money and go places and trying to make his way in the world, while getting beat down at every turn. So certainly watching this guy go through the trials and tribulations of life, just trying to get what he used to love, off the ground, and him just we slowly throughout the story find uncoverings of his past through other characters. For example, like the wife of I forget who the famous actor guy was.
Justin Timberlake.
Yeah, Justin Timberlake. I didn't know that was Justin Timberlake. I didn't look anything like him. But yeah, like she's like a vehicle that we find out through, and then because of her, we go to the abortion clinic, and then the doctor's like, "Oh yeah, this one will be on the house." He's like, "Why?" And he's like, "Oh, because the other chick didn't have it." And he's like, "I tried to find you, but I couldn't." You know, just those kinds of things, which I think exploring a world through matter of circumstance and happen chance, I guess I could say, is really cool, because then it leads to like, all right, well, what more mysteries await us? Because obviously the character's not going to tell us. That's not his style, which, you know, I can appreciate.
Yeah, definitely well said, Dylan. Very well said. One thing we haven't even mentioned yet, I can't believe it, Oscar Isaac's performance here, phenomenal stuff. He does a great job in the role. The acting in general throughout the film was just great. We're introduced to such a large cast of just this revolving door in Llewyn's life, and, they all leave their own little impressions on us. As Jackson said, I especially love John Goodman's character. That whole stretch of the movie was very fun stuff.
Yeah, my thoughts. I think this movie is good, but not great. It's very well made, and yes, it has good characters and great acting and all that stuff. I think my big problem with this movie is it is very played out. We've already seen like 3 or 4 watch this scumbag in New York films, and it just didn't do anything unique enough to give it that little extra oomph to put it over the edge into the A tiers for me.
I agree with my husband. This movie fucking sucks.
You guys just don't get it. You just don't fucking get it. That's fine though. That's fine. Not everyone needs to have good taste. Not everyone can be quite as ascended as I am. I'm sticking at my A.
Dude, I still gave it a B+.
Yeah, I'm sticking at my C+. I'm pretty indifferent on this movie, unfortunately. This one, it feels almost like Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, where I was watching it and everyone loves this movie, and I feel like I was just missing something. There was something that didn't click with the movie, and it just caused me to really dislike it. The same thing happened with the Guardians 3 review. Go watch that if you are interested in my thoughts. So maybe I will give this one another watch at some point, and maybe I'll just fucking click then, and I'll jump up 3 ranks. It's impossible to say, but for now, yeah, it's C+.
Yeah, that's the unfortunate thing. Sometimes if you just aren't going into the movie with the right mindset, maybe you're just not really in the mood to be watching a movie or anything like that, it can harshly impact your experience of it.
True. Most of the time I'm going into these movies not giving a fuck about watching a movie in the moment.
Interesting.
Which is just how it goes.
C'est la vie. Maybe it's because you just don't like folk music, though. Maybe that's doing it.
I think
Ignore
that's
the fact that you
thing.
liked Whiplash, which is jazz that you also don't like, but...
I feel like there was more compelling story to be had there, but that's just me.
A more linear story at the very least. I'll go for my B+.
Holy shit. This second timeline has granted the movie a higher rating, and it lands at a B+ overall.
How is that even possible? Did you guys change your rankings? Because I didn't.
Tanner did.
I see.
Tanner went with the lower of his 2 the first time around. The second time around, he wasn't convinced, and he went with the higher of his 2.
Very funny.